Hello again. So today we look at equations with fractions. And the first one that I've got on here, x over 3 plus 4 is equal to 6. You can actually solve as a two-step equation, and we've done that by just first subtracting the 4 and then timesing by the 3. So just to revise, I'm going to do that. We first want to get rid of this plus 4, so we're going to minus 4 each side from the numbers. This cancels, so copying down x divided by 3 is equal to 6 minus 4, which is 2. Now to get rid of the divide by 3, we're going to times 3 both sides. Divide 3 and times 3 cancel, so x is equal to 6. Right, but now I want to do it slightly differently, and you might think that is silly, but the reason we need to do this is when the equation becomes more complex, the fraction, we have to use this new way. So I just want to start with something that's more familiar. That's why I start with this one. That can be done another way, but I want to show you the new method which you need to know today. So let's start again. X over 3 plus 4 is equal to 6. And what we're going to do differently now is we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by whatever is in the denominator, in this case 3. So we're going to put brackets around the sides, and each side we will multiply by 3. So times 3, both on the left hand side and the right hand side. Just remember that this means now that we need to multiply each of the things in the bracket, each term. So 3 times x over 3, the times 3 and the divide by 3 cancel, so the first one just becomes x. And then 3 times 4 is 12. On the right hand side we simply have 6 times 3, which is 18. To finish solving this equation, we need to get rid of this, so we're going to subtract 12 from all the numbers. The 12s cancel, x equal to 18 minus 12, which is 6. Notice we get the same answer, even though we used a different method. Alright, let's go and look at another one where we have to use the second method. Brackets 5x minus 3 over 2 is equal to 2x. Alright, so what do we have in the denominator here? We just have the 2. And we're going to start by multiplying both sides with the denominator. So multiply by 2. Notice that when we multiply by 2 on the left here where there's a fraction, we actually multiply by 2 over 1. You don't necessarily have to write that, but it makes it clearer that it belongs to the numerator. And also on the right hand side, we have to times by 2. As before, times 2 cancel the divide by 2, so all that's remaining on the left hand side is the 5x minus 3, and since there is nothing behind the bracket here or before the bracket there, we don't need the bracket anymore, so the bracket can be dropped, and that's equal to 2x times 2, which is 4x. We now want to get rid of this 4x, or we want to take it to the left hand side, so we're going to subtract 4x each side from the x terms. 4x minus 4x. 5x's minus 4x's is just 1x, is equal to 4x's minus 4x's is nothing. And in this case we have to write it. We can't just leave a whole side of an equation empty. If there was another term, we would just write the other term, but since there's nothing else, we need to show the 0. The very last step, of course, is just to add 3 both sides to get rid of the negative 3. Sorry. So minus 3 plus 3 is 0, and x is equal to 0 plus 3, which is 3. Let's just quickly practice that checking method again. So we're going to look at the left-hand side of the equation, which is equal to 5 times x. But of course now we know that x is equal to 3. So 5 times 3 minus 3, close bracket, divided by 2. 5 times 3 is 15, and 15 minus 3 is 12. So the numerator becomes 12, and that divided by 2 gives us a left-hand side of 6. On the right-hand side, we simply have, right-hand side, that's here. The right-hand side of the equation is simply 2x. 2 times x, where x is 3. And 2 times 3 is 6, so we solved it. We nailed it again. Left-hand side and right-hand side both equal to 6, therefore our solution is correct. Alright, the next part is only for the option 2 and 3 people, and that's where we have two fractions and they do not have the same denominator. Then we need to be a little bit more clever about things, and we're going to have to use the lowest common denominator. Alright, my example in this case is x over 3 plus 5 is equal to x over 4 plus 4. Notice we've got two different denominators now. We've got divide by 3 on the left and divide by 4 on the right. Now, when you've added fractions before, you've learned about the lowest common denominator, or the lowest common multiple rather. In this case we call it the lowest common denominator because it is in the denominator, the bottom. But the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4 is 12. The smallest number that both 3 and 4 can divide into is 12. So what we're going to do now is multiply each side of the equation with 12. Once again we need to put brackets because we're going to multiply the whole thing. And I'm going to put 12 over 1, which is the same as 12. Alright, so the first term here becomes 12x over 3, and then 5 times 12 is of course 60. Here we get 12 times x, which is 12x, and 4 times 1, which is 4. And 12 times 4, which is 48. These can now simplify these two. Since we multiply it with the lowest common denominator, it will divide. 12 divided by 3, 12 divided by 3 is 4, so that's 4x. Sorry about that, let me just fix that. That's 4x plus 60 is equal to 12 divided by 4 is 3x plus 48. And now you will see you've actually got a type of equation we've worked with before. It's really easy. We just want to get rid of this 3x. So subtract that both sides. 4x minus 3x. This is 1x. Copy the 60 is equal to nothing plus 48. And lastly, we're going to subtract 60 both sides, which of course gives us x, because those two cancel, is equal to 48 minus 60, and that is negative 12. So x equal to negative 12. Now you can go and enjoy your work. Bye.